Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, Dr. Sarab, yay. Nice to see you again. Just to be transparent, we have met in the past on a pre-consultation call before. Dr. Patel and I follow each other on LinkedIn, and we would love to do some work together at some point. But we're going to go through the intonation because I do think, well, as Dr. Patel's intonation, he can be our example for those of you who aren't aware of intonation and how important it is to American English. Dr. Sarab, if you remember what intonation was in my description?
Kind of. I mean, I don't completely
Oh,
remember, but
kind of.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
kind of.
So the intonation is the melody of a language. The pitch
Right.
rises and the pitch falls. So if you are speaking South Asian, for instance, they have a syllable timed language. Basically, every other syllable is highlighted. In
Right.
American English, we have something called a stress timed language. Other languages have it as well. But what we have to look at is where is the stress put in a sentence? And even further than that, where is the stress put in the word? So what is American intonation and why is it so important? It's so important because there have been studies that show that if you speak in the pattern, the melody of the American English intonation, even if you don't change any pronunciation, don't change a word, you will still be better understood by the American listeners. Now, let that resonate for a second, because we recently published a study that said babies actually cry in the intonation of their parents' language. So a baby from Germany will cry with a German intonation, pitch rises and falls. A French baby, the same. So if you were to teach me your language, I might be able to speak it, but if I don't get your intonation right, the pattern of your ups and downs, then I won't sound natural. So if you want to be better understood in American English, take your speech and put it in the pattern of American English. And we're going to go through those patterns, okay? So the melody of a language is important for natural sounding speech. And I want to emphasize to most people, it's the most important. It's not about the perfect pronunciation. We don't even look for perfect pronunciation. We look for an improvement in pronunciation, but we really focus on intonation. I want to help people feel confident with their clarity and their communication so they don't feel like they're held back by people because they're held back by their accent. I don't want that. I want them to feel like if they're the smartest person in the room, I want them to be treated as the smartest person in the room. So that's really my goal. And my goal is to do that without changing someone's cultural identity, because the cultural identity is hugely important. How do you find your optimum pitch? So we call it the uh-oh method. If you say uh-oh, just like a little kid who drops something on the floor and they go uh-oh, right? So somewhere in between that and oh is your optimum pitch. Everyone has a different optimum pitch. Depends on if you're male, female, older, younger. Just think of children's voices, how they get deeper as they get older. Even me at my age, my voice is getting lower because there's less elasticity, movement in my vocal folds. And so if they're not vibrating as fast, my pitch will be a little bit lower. So everybody's pitch is different. So I don't want people to think that there is an optimum pitch. There's your optimum pitch. Okay. So, uh-oh, somewhere in between there would be where you're going to start your sentences. Start out at your optimum pitch, take a pitch rise, and walk down a set of stairs. That's great. If someone wants to say walk, jump, step down, fall, then this would be a better visual for them to keep in their mind. Another important thing is you always want to end on a downward pitch, and that exudes confidence. Okay? So right now you're learning the American English staircase, right? So start out at your optimum pitch would be the first one. So we start out there, we jump up, and then we walk down the set of stairs. Okay, that little drop off at the end, that's icing on the cake, and I will teach that to you. But I want you to get this picture in your brain and say that is the American English basic intonation staircase. You will change it around a little bit based on what words you want to emphasize, some content words, but we're going to show you how to do that as well. So is this making sense? Does this resonate with you, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here it is. I love my new job. I love my new job. I'm going to start going faster. I love my new job. I love my new job, right? I've had people, Dr. Patel, actually draw the staircase and put their words on it so they could remember if they were practicing. I love my new job. Now, in your native language, how would you say it without trying to use my methodology?
Okay. I love my new job.
Right. I love my new job. I love my new job. See, I love my new job. That actually, I love my new job. That actually fits in a bit. A lot of times, South Asian languages will end in an upward pitch.
Right.
I love my new job. I love my new job. Do you hear people saying that?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. I'm going to show you a word and I'm going to ask you to say it. I think you will get this right.
Develop.
Develop. Okay. What do you hear a lot of peers say?
Develop.
Develop. Okay.
Develop.
It's develop. So it's here and then it's a pitch rise and then comes down. So this one right here, develop. So that's a really important word for South Asian folks because I've heard people say develop, development, and that is not clear. Where best versus west can be understood, develop is not understood. Okay, so that one is a big one. I'm glad you remembered. Bravo for you, sir. So I want you to try the next one because it actually fits very well exactly with the written staircase. So would you try that for me, Dr. Patel?
Sure. I really need to go to the post office.
Perfect. Was that a struggle for you to get up there with that really?
A little bit, not much.
Okay, but that's okay.
Yeah.
The awareness of it is so important, sir. All right, I'm going to try the next one. I really need to go to the post office. Okay, so that's even a little bit more desperate, right? Especially on tax day. I'm always telling everybody, I got to go to the post office. I got to mail my taxes. I really need to go to the post office. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. So this is our basic intonation staircase. We're going to go through 3 different staircases today that will help you. And again, I think you have wonderful English speech. If this can help you feel really confident, although I know you do have a lot of confidence, sir, you want to put your emotion into your speech. I don't want people to sound like little robots going up and down, up and down. Now, remember the reason though we're going up and down and ending on a downward pitch is because the American listeners are used to that pitch tonality, the rise, the fall. And so your message is resonating with them. So that's why we're using it. If you do watch any news, you will hear the broadcasters, the newscasters speak with this up and down pattern. You will see it. It'll become clear to you. Movies, a lot of speech coaches suggest watching movies, etc. Now that might be good for learning words, but it's not as good for learning professional speech, ups and downs, because what are the actresses and actors doing? They're putting a lot of emotion and expression. I had a client from Tamil India who said to me, I'm watching movies and I don't understand what they're saying. I can't find the staircase. It's like because they're, oh my God, you've got to come here quick. It's dramatic. Drama doesn't help you learn your speech staircases. I think TED Talks do, podcasts do, but The dramatic movies might be fun to watch, not going to teach you your speech staircase, in my opinion. The grand staircase is basically two staircases combined. It just really means it's a longer sentence. Where do you take a second or sometimes a third pitch rise? When you pitch rise again, you only go to your optimum pitch. You don't go as high as your highest pitch. You see, it's like if there's a line and then you walk down a set of stairs. So I'll just draw that part real quickly. Okay, so what I was saying is you start at your optimum pitch, you go up, you come down, and then you go just back up to where your optimum pitch was, and then continue to come down. That's the grand staircase. I think you'll find this very interesting. You will probably start listening to yourself more, and you'll probably say, I used the grand staircase already. Or if I don't, then maybe I would want to implement it. Again, downward pitch, always important for confidence and for clarity. Mandarin speakers speak in a very flat tone because most of their words are monosyllabic and there's not a lot of pitch variation. So you might hear, I'm getting the hang of this now. I'm getting the hang of this now. Very kind of flat and somewhat boring. If you want to be engaging, you need to add that pitch variety. Okay, is that making sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Super. Okay, one of the things that we work on at Be Understood is learning to listen, listening to those pitch rises, pitch falls, things that you're not used to listening to, especially if you're speaking in your native language, regularly and not always English. So when you hear these little pitch rises, and this is the practicing of it, I want you to be able to differentiate small differences, small pitch rises, small pitch falls, differentiate it so that when you don't say it the way you wanted to, you can self-correct. And when you start to self-correct, you don't need a speech coach. So my goal is to get someone to a point where they hear it, they don't put themselves down for saying it wrong, but they say, oh, you know what? I went up at the end, I could have done this, and self-correct. What did you learn from the free speech screening?
So I think I remember there were a couple of sentences that I said or I mentioned, and I remember the way you, Linda, corrected me in the form of not just the staircase, but also the way the words have to be pronounced, especially the letters B, B, how it is pronounced, how it should be used, and how we can incorporate the staircase in the speech. So I remember we had stressed on B, best and best. So,
best and best. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And the takeaways I gave you, it sounds like you found them valuable. Yes, sir?
Yeah, very much. In fact, I've been trying to use them as much as I can in my normal speeches as well.
Would you recommend this to others, the free speech screening?
Absolutely, I do, because unintentionally, as well as without knowing, we do make a lot of mistakes while speaking, which we don't realize because we don't know if we are making mistakes.
Right.
So I would definitely recommend this free speech screening because it will not only highlight the portion where you need to improve, it will help you improve in the future when you speak, wherever it is, even if you're not a speaker, even if you are speaking in your work environment, even if you're a teacher or even you're conversing normally with any person, it will definitely help. So I strongly recommend this.